Hey everyone, it's Simon Hurley and I'm here at the Ranger booth at Creativation sharing some of my awesome new products from the Simon Hurley Create line. Now let's turn onto the surface and check out my new background stamps. So these are two of my new background stamps, and these are what we call peel apart background stamps. So there's two new designs. This one's called Watercolor Blooms and this one's called Timber. And what's really awesome about this is you're able to stamp it as a full background. Now this one's of course used, but yours will come clean. You're able to stamp it as a full background if it's all together like these. Or you can peel out different sections of the background stamp to get other images from it. So this one is really cool because you can peel out all these little images and get these separate flowers. It's almost like getting a whole nother stamp set with your background stamp because then you're able to stamp these individually. So here are the flowers stamped individually. And then here is it kind of watered down, adding a little bit of water with my inks and stamping it down as a whole background. So I'll share that in just a second. And it's really easy to put all these back in. So what I find is all you have to do is pop them right back in to their little shapes. We made the cuts kind of jagged, so it's really easy to know exactly where everything goes and how it fits back into the stamp. So just quickly add that back and you can see how easy it is to do. And the cool part about this is all you have to do is if it's not going in completely, if there's anything sticking up, move the rubber a little bit, make some room, and then everything will be right back to normal, ready to stamp as a full background, which is awesome. Let's go in here with Crown Me, and I'm just gonna add a little bit of ink onto the surface there. Then for the second color, I'm gonna go in with a little bit of Remember Me. So you're able to blend these colors together. And I love how those two look together. That nice dark purple with the blue on there. It looks really great. And then I'm gonna go in with a little bit of Bee Sting to finish this off. And don't be afraid to overlap the ink pads. I wouldn't do it too much with the colors, but just kind of touch them up next to each other. If you get a little blue on your red ink pad, all you have to do is go in with either a sheet of cardstock or a paper towel and just kind of wipe that edge off. You'll see it's a little bit dirty at first, but it'll return back to that original red Bee Sting color once you're done. So that's all you have to do if you've kind of contaminated your ink pad. It won't ruin it at all. It'll just kind of help the colors blend together, and just wipe it off a little bit after you're done. So then to stamp this background, you could just leave it as is, but I like to go in with a little bit of water to spray it down. I'll show you what it looks like without water in just a second. I'm going to go in with a piece of stark white cardstock, and then all you have to do is go in and stamp this down, apply a little bit of pressure. I stamp it down with facing up, and then you're able to apply pressure to the back to get a nice evenly stamped image. And I dropped it a little bit there, but there's that awesome watercolor looking background with those flowers, which I just love that. So of course you can use that water on this dark white cardstock and it sinks into the surface nicely, which will give you a really awesome effect. It'll still blend the colors, but it won't blend them too much to create a muddy effect. Then I'm going to go in here with my paper towel and just start wiping this off. Now the cool part about the Simon Hurley Create inks is they don't stain your stamps. They don't stain clear photopolymer, and they won't stain your background stamps either, which I love. So just add a little bit of water and clean that off. The inks will come right off your surface there. I'm going to wipe off some of this water. And then I'm able to also go in and, like I showed, peel apart some of these background stamps. Now the cool part about this is I can use these flowers by themselves. Some of the people in my class were making borders on their cards, which I think is super cool. What I've been loving doing is just stamping them kind of in the center of my card as more of a focal point. So you're able to really choose the images that you want from the set now and not have to worry about the whole background, which is awesome. So let's go in here with some Psych, which is one of the new colors from my line. I'll go in with a little bit of Tropical Tango, and I like to roll the ink pad on if I'm doing any shading like this. Then I'll go in with Triple Berry, which is one of my older purple colors, but I love it. And then again, the old colors work with the new colors as well. So I'll go in with a little bit of Crown Me. I'll roll that on the edge there to get a little bit of shading. And then we can stamp that right down onto the surface. And there you can see that awesome card that you get. Now this background stamp was made with a halftone pattern. So some of the halftone dots are a little bit further apart to create a lighter pattern, and then some of them are more closer together, so you get a darker pattern there. So that's that awesome texture. If you don't want that texture, again, you can go in like I just showed you with the water and spray it out, or you can still go in with a water brush on this dark white cardstock. You can go in and blend that out. Let me get some water going here. All you need to do is blend that color out, and it just blends together since my inks react with water, and you can create a beautiful looking watercolor effect, which is awesome. So then you can go in with some of the smaller images too. I wanted some smaller ones in this set, so you can still go in. Let's say I wanted that same watercolor effect again, so all I'm going to do is take this, spray it with a little bit of water, and then go in here and you get a cool watercolor look on the background. So don't be afraid to play around with different looks. Stamp it at full strength or add a little bit of water for a cool painted look. And then also we included some little leaves in here, so in case if you wanted to stamp some separate leaves to fill in the rest of your background and create your own floral bouquets, you totally can. And I wanted to incorporate those little images so you can do that as well. So that's that floral Watercolor Blooms background stamp. Now let's move on into taking a look at the timber background stamp, which is super cool. So the way I like to use this is you can either stamp it as a full background or you could use groups of the background stamp. This one's done in a group of 2 and a group of 3 or as 2 individuals. So let me show you how to stamp these kind of by themselves. Of course you could use it as a full background. There's tons of detail in here which I love. Let me take these 2. The reason why I did 2 individual ones is because I wanted to be able to get 2 different trees even if you wanted to stamp them in separate colors. Now this allows you to stamp a whole background in different colors without separating or taping off your background stamp, right? So you don't have, no more having to tape or mask anything off. I'm gonna go in here with Tropical Tango, one of the new colors, and stamp that down. Then I'll switch it. And the cool part, like I said, so your branches won't look the same then if you want to stamp a couple at once. Let's go in for a little shock factor. Let's use some Psych, which is that bright green color that I love. So you're able to go down on your whole background stamp like this. Go all the way down your card if you want to. I'll go back in with the other background stamp. Now another cool part about this, to make it look unique, I'm going to grab Minty Fresh. This is that cool kind of neutral mint color, which is awesome. So I stamped that going upward. All you have to do is flip the stamp to get a whole new branch and stamp it right in there. So there you go. You can stamp different colors. You can do it across the whole background. You can stamp them vertically or horizontally since they're 6x6 background stamps. But there's so much awesome things you could do with this because they're all separated, and you can choose the images you want and stamp them in different colors without having to mask anything off. So it really provides a ton of versatility with your background stamps, and they're the same price as the regular background stamps too. So we're just giving you a lot more use out of them, which I think is so awesome. So here's some of the backgrounds we created. And I cannot wait for you guys to get your hands on the Watercolor Blooms and Timber background stamps. They're so much fun. Thanks.